Hot Off the Press has some brand new stamps. Now the stamps have been known for the remarkable ability to stamp clear impressions, and that's because they're made out of silicone. So we're going to be referring to them as silicone stamps, and there are 3 new themes.
We have butterflies, houses, and charming kids with pets.
That's right. Wait till you see what the design team has done with them.
Come play with us.
Well, ta-da, here they are. Now,
we have On Butterfly Wings, which goes with that whole set.
Right.
We have the Welcome Home and Janie's Furry Friends.
now let's focus on the On Butterfly Wings to begin
Right.
with.
So you've seen the papers and all kinds of the whole collection that goes along with
Hopefully
this.
you're tuning in every week so we
Right.
can show you that. On Butterfly Wings has papers, it has ribbons, it has paper towel, and also
scrapbooking dazzles,
Yes.
beautiful scrapbooking dazzles.
And the stamps, as you can see, offer a wide variety of not only, there's border, but there's focals.
Right.
There's also words in there.
It's a vintage look, but it's just got this beautiful, I love the script in the background, lots of different sizes too, larger, smaller.
And because we're hot off the press, you get an idea on the back of
Right.
it, along with some information about how it was done. And we're going to kind of step that out and give you more. There are
Right.
16 pieces on this sheet, so that's a really nice blend.
I mean, the large size, you see how large that
Yeah.
is? That's about 4 inches, at least 4 inches wide, so that's a beautiful focal, and then lots of smaller images.
Right, so here's one way you can use them, and you can kind of create your own paper towel by using those elements. Now,
Right, and combined with some cutting dies, which is this frame that you're seeing, which is just gorgeous.
which I happen to have.
Right.
It's the layering frames, and there's just so many things you can do with this die cutting piece or this set.
Right.
And one of them is to simply die cut out that frame.
Right, die cut that frame and frame this artwork. So each of the pieces that you're seeing here have been stamped onto patterned paper. Then they were colored in with chalk and layered on top of each other. Some of them were done paper towel style.
Right, so you've got the wings and the clock. The Just For You, that message is on the stamp set. We've
Right.
taken it into a tag.
Put it in a little tag. You've got this old-fashioned phonograph. Well, I love that with the roses on
that
there.
pretty?
They have a beautiful little butterfly. Oh, good.
And then a key also, so in fact a couple of keys. So just beautifully done. And you can see that the paper on the back of the card, we'll back up just a little bit,
There we go.
is done in some pieces, or a couple of pieces I guess.
Right, and then there's a strip down here, more stamping. That's the border stamp
Right.
going all the way across
Don't
the
you
back.
like the torn edge along that?
Right.
Very nice. And then on the inside, just adding the butterfly and more using the layering
Right,
frames.
so the
cutting
layering
die.
frames, it comes with that centerpiece gets cut out of the frame, and then you have these layers. So absolutely beautiful. This part was computer journaled
It
right
was.
here in the center.
So there you go, just a beautiful look, just for you. It could be for so many
Right.
occasions. And even though there are roses on there, I think that this could pass for a masculine card.
I think so too.
So you can see that very different look is coming here.
Oh, just beautiful.
This wasn't used on the first card, but it's used here, as well as the keys were used on the first card. The
Right.
Just For You is down there.
And this was stamped on that big plate in the center and then colored in with the Spectrum Noir blendable pencils.
Ah.
This is new for us, and they're just gorgeous. You can get all kinds of bright, vivid effects.
In fact, there's a webisode exclusively on
Right.
those pencils.
Be sure and check that out. There are 24 colors in each one of these sets, and there are several sets you can choose from.
Now the swirls were done and heat embossed with the wow.
Super fine
Ah.
metallic embossing powder. This is one of my new favorites. So we have different colors of these metallic line.
Isn't that pretty on the edges? There's the Just For You again, little bit of coloring.
And then the keys were done in that silver as well. So two silver
excellent.
keys stamped
Very
and
nice.
embossed and cut out there.
And on the inside, Fly Toward Your Dreams on butterfly wings.
And then Dreams was colored in with the pencils.
And then the small butterflies all around the back on the pattern paper. And I do want to give due credit because several of these first two definitely came from the Stamps Only Personal Shopper.
Right.
So just really want to show that. And this one was done using the design tool number 7 to create that
Great.
nice big image.
That huge label in the
Yeah.
background. Very versatile, those design toolkits.
Now, do you want something even more different?
Yeah.
Well, how
Very
about
different.
this?
Ooh.
Isn't that? Now, who would have thought?
I don't know.
But-
Maybe me.
Maybe
But
you.
This was on the Simply Susan paper pack. I just love the purples and the grays. And it gives an opportunity for you to show off those images. You can do them in just black with stays on, but then you can color them in using the metallic color pens.
Right, and they come in a package like this. There's
Right.
the 3 in colors, which it looks like that's
Right,
what
the
you
metallic
use.
colors, and then there's the metallic
Gold, silver, copper.
silver, and copper. And they're super easy to use. They have a pretty fine tip. So, oh, I've actually got it stamped. I forgot. So I just stamped them just like that. I used like a black stays on, and then you just color in wherever you want. And they're fine enough that you can get some pretty decent detail. Just get some of those spots and go around. And what I did is I tried to sort of stay on top, or stay within the lines of the areas because I didn't want to cover up the black too much. Another way to do this would be to emboss it with black, and then it would really
Right.
have a nice black edging
Well,
around
you're
it.
nice and close. There you can see. So you just did one, and I think that's a really nice idea. It looks all dotted.
And then in the background here, I stamped the key actually 3 times,
Right.
and then I stamped it again on the gray paper, the same as the bottom, colored it in and cut it out, and foam taped it so it would sit up above.
And as we back up,
Yeah,
oh,
can you get that?
yeah, you stamp the chain because you
Right.
had that stamped. And the sincere sympathy comes from the inside outside dazzles. This is a 3-pack, so you get all of the messages in 3 colors, but it has sincere sympathy on the outside, on the inside sending warm thoughts. So we've got some butterflies too. Look at the stamping, kind of collaging a little bit.
Right, so just add some of it just right on the card, and then one piece, that little stamp, the stamp, the postage stamp was stamped and colored out and cut out.
Right, just with those pens. So we were afraid that when we did Teresa's first look that the dazzles were just not quite here. So nice to be able to show them to you. So again, this is also from the Personal Shopper, Stamps Only. Now this is the card that's in the current catalog, and you can see it has that shimmery look, which can only mean perfect pearls.
And it's from the new one. You have to excuse the open package. We've been using this one, but it's called Interference, and it's just got these beautiful kind of pastel-y colors with it. Just beautiful, light and metallic almost looking. Just a beautiful look. It comes with a couple of brushes and the perfect medium. That in particular was painted on, so you just get a little bit of liquid on your brush, a little bit of water, and add it to the perfect pearls, and you have paint for painting on them.
You know, although this is one stamp, and we'll just bring this in so you can see, it's one stamp, I like the idea of highlighting those extra pieces because you kind of don't see them as much when it's already stamped. So the butterfly was done on a separate stamp and cut out, and
Separate
then
piece
perfect
of paper,
pearl.
right. It was cut out and it was foam taped up above, so just a beautiful look.
And isn't it pretty, the Just For You? Boy, that gets very useful. And
It
look at the
does.
border down here on
Border
the
down at
inside.
bottom, right, and it was colored in also with perfect pearls. And even behind that label on the front, there's some scroll work done on the edges, and that's another one of the stamps right there.
Those are black jewel dazzles that are on the edges of that frame. And I have a feeling that was done with a design tool. So
Sure.
the
Which
gallery
one?
will tell you
Yeah,
that.
which one it is.
Fly Toward Your Dreams on butterfly wings. Just a beautiful look with that cut back. And we've got 2 more ideas, and this is a different one. I like how this is creating kind of the scene with this curved area of the roses and
Right.
the
Chandelier up in the
Yes,
corners, isn't that
gorgeous.
beautiful? And there's lots of glitter on there too.
There is,
And
very
I'll show you
shiny.
how that was done. Now, if you look at the actual stamp for this, you're going to notice, let's put the stamp next to that image, if we
Okay.
could. that, okay, there is the rose cluster with that butterfly right there, but it's only this big, and you see it continuing off down into the corner here. So how that was done is it was stamped, this one image, onto the paper here. Then it was stamped again onto a Post-it note, and the edge was cut out, and it was placed down below so that you could stamp the whole image again. It would, part of it would be on here, and you get that extra little rose there.
Okay.
And then you stamp it again. You can just keep doing that and masking off pieces so you can keep adding roses. So that's how the entire image was formed. Let's see, I want to keep the paper and move that away.
With that one stamp.
Then those were colored in with brush markers, and we do have sets of like 3 colors that go pretty well together for brush markers. You could also use Spectrum Noir pens if you want. Once they were colored in, a Versamarker was used.
So this is the Versamark pen.
The Versamark pen, right, was used just to color in so you can go over the whole area of that rose there, so you can get that right where you want it. Then you sprinkle kaleidoscope embossing powder on there and emboss it, and then you get the look that you see on the card.
Okay, so that's why we're getting so much shimmer and shine. Wow.
Looks like another butterfly was stamped and foam taped on top too.
Very nice. Oh, I didn't think about doing that with the kaleidoscope.
Right, isn't that beautiful?
Very pretty.
So I love this look of all of these tinier pieces that you can stamp and cut out, and you really get these collage effects going, and paper toll effects too.
Same thing on the inside, just a beautiful, beautiful look. Now we've got one more that is just such a surprise, and here you go. This is a beautiful technique.
And it's using a shadow technique as well as cutting that into 4 pieces. I want to show you basically how I did that. So I've got the piece of paper here, and the lines that you're seeing are for me to show you where the center lines of the paper are and where I eventually am going to cut.
Okay.
So I first stamped it with a brown fluid chalk ink, and actually I inked up the stamp. I stamped off onto scrap paper.
Okay.
So it's called stamping off, so I can get a much lighter effect here. And do you see where the little loops are here? So I actually placed the stamp below the center line of that piece because I wanted a shadow down below. And the next thing I did was stamped again right on the center with a Versamark. And when I was done, you can see those loops are now lined up pretty well. I kind of messed with it with that center line. And I dusted it with the new Wow Metallic Copper Superfine Embossing Powder.
Oh, that's pretty.
So that was, once that's centered, then you cut it right along those center lines. If you want to draw those center lines, then you know where you're cutting. But I just knew that was the center line here and the center line of the paper here. So just cut right
Line
down
up your
the center.
butterfly that way.
And once you get that done,
And
that's
then
the piece.
separate it onto your paper, your background paper.
I matted it on black suede too, so that's why it's so vivid, that black line.
Just beautiful. And then you've got more of the swirls on the edges.
Just stamp them off of the edge. I like that effect of just kind of half of it floating onto the card there.
So pretty. And then on the inside, this is something different.
Right, just stamp it in the background. I think I off-stamped it a little bit too, so it wouldn't be quite as dark. And
you let it go off the edge of the card,
right.
and then had the message right there.
You know, I did that because I felt like the focal was on the front, and I didn't want to make this just another large focal right in the center.
Plus, there's plenty of room to write a message, so that's really nice. How gorgeous is that? So many looks with a stamp set that really says it's one look.
Right.
And I love that about it. I love that what the design team did.
Okay, but we've got another stamp set to show you.
We're going home. We're just going home.
Welcome home.
They say it takes a village. Well, now you can create your own, whether it's a village or a city or just your street.
I love this. The sizes, now we talked about different sizes on that other stamp set.
Did.
This goes from very large stamps to the teeny tiniest
And we want to get
stamps.
in. Come on, John, let's get in so we can see that.
Zoom in
There's
on
a little kitty
cat. We have a bunch more of them over
We've got
here.
some dogs.
Oh, a topiary for the landscape.
Doghouse, a potted plant.
Love that
we have,
tree.
And again, home is where your heart is. Welcome home. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Right.
The picket fence.
Picket fence border, which is fantastic.
And I love the swing on the tree.
The bicycle.
Now, these can be clouds, they can also be bushes, and you can see wrought iron fence that you can make larger.
I love the large street lamp there. So
Yes.
love makes a house a home.
So words and borders and houses and all the little things. So here is one way. In fact, I think this is the one that's on the back of the package. This is with the sidestep card.
Right, and these were colored in just with watercolor pencils.
Okay, so you've got love makes a house a home. Nice to have the heart jewel dazzle in there.
I love the bottom where the picket fence was stamped and then it was cut out, and you've got that large house there.
And both of those are foam taped. You can see that the puppies and kittens are playing in the background, as well as a cat thinking about climbing a tree and getting a bird. And old bicycle, we didn't mention that.
Isn't
That's
that
on
wonderful?
the stamp.
Yeah, right, that's on there. And I love the
Very
layers. So the
fun.
sidestep card, you can just layer things. You've got your whole village right there.
Very, very fun. And here is another way that it can be used, again, with embossing powders. And Susan did this with the copper and the pink. I think it's a
The
rose
pink,
color.
Right, and those are a couple of different new Wow embossing powders.
Right. Two colors I would not have thought about putting together.
And we've got some of the fancy frames cutting dies surrounding these pieces, so it's like framing a portrait of a house, which I think is a really cute idea.
And then home is where your heart is.
And this is on the Emma's Garden
Welcome
paper
home.
pack.
Very pretty.
Just beautiful. I love all those different colors that go with the embossing powders just beautifully.
And just doing the embossing powder, not doing any coloring or anything beyond that, just simply the embossing powder is just a beautiful look. Now,
Gorgeous.
speaking of embossing powder, as you probably know, we have the heat-resistant acetate, and what it means is that you can do heat embossing on the acetate without it warping.
Right.
And that's exactly what was done here.
So they were embossed on there. They were actually backed with paper so that you couldn't see through the houses to the next part.
There, you
so
can see that.
just those pieces were, so I'm sure that they were stamped separately on that pattern paper so you could cut them out and just place them on the back there.
Well, they're stamped on the acetate.
They're stamped on the acetate, but then they were also just
so you can
stamped
cut them out.
on
Gotcha.
pattern paper so you'd have a tracing line to cut them out.
So on the front, we have the three houses in 3 of the Wow embossing powder colors. And this piece then becomes the front of the card. And those pieces of Velcro, that's because we were just at the CHA trade show, and that's where this was being shown. I love the dimension that this gives. So you can see your lamppost.
This is sort of like this side of the street, and then when you open it up, there's the other side of the street.
Right. And we've got
Wonderful. All those small elements, all done in different colors of that embossing powder. And I love the picket fence here. It's got all of those elements used. Love makes a house a home, which that can be seen through the acetate on the front.
like so.
But if you look down at the bottom of the card here, you don't see anything else until you open it up.
Right.
And then you see, welcome to the neighborhood.
That's right.
Very
So,
sweet
you know,
one.
I'm thinking of this, it could be retirement, it could be graduation, it could be certainly moving, just lots of different opportunities. And scrapbookers, I will tell you, these are going to be charming on your scrapbook pages.
Oh, absolutely.
So very, very nice. Now we do have one more stamp set from Janie Dawson, and I'm so glad to have her things. Now, this is a larger sheet, costs a couple dollars more, but we did that so that, number one, you got a lot of pieces, and so that they would be at least 3 inches tall. That way, they're a nice size to be a focal on your card.
Right, but there are lots of smaller elements as well, so you can mix and match these really easily.
17 silicone stamps on here.
There are always lots of wonderful phrases. Wag more, bark less. Is
Words
really
to live
cute
by,
one.
yes. Have your own.
Yeah, have your, hope your, yeah, I've got my glasses on, just a second. Hope your day is filled with treats.
Very cute.
So
you
cute.
can see washing the puppy, the kitty, dogs by
Kitties
themselves.
and doggies. There are even little birdies.
And we have a little
Something for
boy.
everybody.
We have a boy,
There he
everybody.
is.
There you go. Well, let's look at some cards from here. And speaking of that little guy, here he is. with his Dalmatian puppies.
Right.
And how fun is that? Just absolutely charming.
So that was colored in using the watercolor pencils. I believe it was used using the reds and the yellows.
Looks like it,
Look at
doesn't
the
it?
gallery to make sure. There might be enough in the yellows just to do that on its own. There are some reds in there, so I might be wrong.
And we've got love with a little puppy paw or cat paw in the center.
Kitty paw, yeah, that is so cute. And so these are embossed. This part is embossed with superfine black embossing powder and then colored in. But also the background I love because it's got these little dots that mimic that Dalmatian puppy.
Right. You're going to show us how to do that?
I'm going to show you how to do
Okay.
that. I'm just going to get a little bit of water here. And I've got my white cardstock. I've got from the neutral set, that was the other one that was used, the neutral set on this one, and it's got, so this is the color that you're going to get. So I get a little bit of water on there, maybe a little bit of water on my paintbrush too, and I'm just going to flick some color off, just like that. And depending on how close you are to the paper, or how much water you use, it's going to show you how big or how small those little dots will be.
Okay.
Very
Just
simple.
that simple. And I love the twine going here. Just really, really sweet.
That's one of our new, that's our new twine set. It's
It is.
12 jute twine in one package, lots of different colors.
And I think it's 72 inches of each too, if I'm not
Right,
mistaken.
so it's very useful.
And love, 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 wag more, bark less, words to live by. And you can see that little guy going down to the corner of the card. Just absolutely charming. Now we have him with his puppy. Now we have her with her kittens. And BFF, best furry friend, is what's proclaimed there with the little bird on top. And this is just a beautiful look. Not only has she been stamped and heat embossed, but colored in.
Colored in, also with those watercolor pencils, and this one was using the green set and the yellow set, and I would like to show you how the background was done because it was done on watercolor paper, so it got really kind of an interesting look. So let's see, first it was done on the paper, then it was embossed.
Okay, so you're going to do the first
Right.
step?
So the first
Okay.
step was really this portion, and I got my, I got this all wet. I have to sort of clean up my brush a little bit. So that's me doing that, try to get the, there we
Do you
go.
need a paper towel?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
so.
I have that.
What I needed was a big thing of water, which I forgot, so that I could really clean that effectively. And
You okay?
I have to get, or a clean brush, but, well, I think that'll do it. I think I got it. I don't want to get too much black on there. All right, we'll do it this
Okay.
way. So the first thing I did with the watercolor paper, which we do sell on Paper Wishes, and it holds watercolor, it holds water really well without buckling all over the place.
It's
and
thicker,
It's
right.
thicker. So I'm going to get this thoroughly wet, front
You
side and
Both
back
sides.
Both sides. I want it nice and
Ah.
wet. And so I really
So
want
it's
it.
going to warp. It's going
It's going to
to
warp a little bit. It's all right. I can move it
buckle
around
in the
and
middle.
flatten it down a little bit if I want.
Okay.
And then I've got water all over anyway, and I don't have a palette sitting here, but what I did was got some little puddles of color. And that's pretty much the way I did it.
Oh.
It's just like that. I'm going to get some puddles of color, different colors that I'm going to use, and I don't even care. I'm getting water all over the place. It's totally fine. And then I use that brush to pick up the color and just sort of add it. And I can even add some more water to really help it puddle. Another way to do this is to sort of wipe this on and do this. And I've done it before, but I like the effect more of getting, and I can really get some intense color if I do that too. And then
Okay.
color it on in
and this is
different
with
areas.
watercolor pencils.
Right, with watercolor pencils. And I add it on in different areas. I don't have all of the colors that I used in the card that you just saw. I'm using some different colors here, just so you know. But it does say in the gallery which ones I used. And then, theoretically, I would clean off my brush and use another one, but I'm just going to do this quickly.
No time for that.
I'm using a really kind of a bright yellow, and it's turning orange here. But anyway, you see the effect that you just add it. Because there's a lot of water on that paper, it's puddling up, it's pooling around, it's getting
And that's
all
what
over
you
the,
want.
and that's what you want.
Okay.
And if you feel like it's not pooling around or doing what you want, you can spray it with a little bit more water and really get it to move around.
And you can see the watercolor paper has a texture. You can
Right.
see that that's what's
Right.
created
And
there.
you can even sort of move it around and let the
bit.
colors blend like that. Isn't that beautiful? I think it's
It
beautiful.
is.
I like that. I like doing that. So I'm going to get that out of the way.
Kind of bothers me you don't have control, but okay, I'm getting over it.
That's the fun part.
So this one was the blues and the greens and the yellows, I imagine.
Right. One of
And-
those has yellows in it. I don't remember which one. Gallery.
So you did the gallery, our saving grace. So there you do it on the background. Let that dry thoroughly.
Right.
And then come back and you can do the heat embossing.
Right.
And then
Stamp
color
and
in.
emboss and then color in. And always use a little bit of water with your pencils to color in to get some really vivid colors.
Such a sweet look. I like having the message up here
Yeah.
and how you've done the ribbon
And
at
I'm
the
remembering
ends.
this was done with one of the new design toolkits. It has
Right.
that little tag with it. One of those,
Okay.
also the gallery, but it's just beautiful. I love the tag up there, and even the edges that you see here are from the design toolkit.
And then on the inside, look at that. Just really hope your day is filled
And
with
those shapes
treats.
are also on the design toolkit that I'm talking about.
Right. And the last card that we have is this, yet another look. And how fun is this with the BFF, your best furry friend, all
Right.
around the corner. The heart dazzles inside there. It's
It fits
just
perfectly.
darling.
That's
It
just
does.
wonderful. The heart jewel dazzles, and even on the little doghouse and on this
The collar.
collar. So these were colored in with Spectrum Noir pens.
Right.
And there's a little bit of red fireworks holographic paper.
Yeah, especially as I
matted there,
wiggle
too.
this, you're getting lots of sparkle.
I love that idea of going around the edge with that sentiment. I hadn't thought of that.
Very cute, very cute. Well, Debbie
Yeah.
did, so that was good. So what you can see is that Janie's Furry Friends and
On butterfly wings.
Welcome Home give you lots of opportunities for lots of themes and lots of techniques.
Lots of techniques. Have fun.